Alright, so today we have a Subaru Impreza Wagon where the customer is saying that the brakes feel a little funny, that they're locking up potentially, and that they see smoke coming from the front of the vehicle. So we're going to take a look into that. What we're going to do is we're going to lift the car up, shake it down, make sure it's nice and safe, put it in the air, look at a couple things underneath, make sure there's no other issues with the vehicle, and then take a look and see what's going on with the calipers. Here we go. So we lifted it up, looked at the vehicle underneath of it, made sure there was no other major glaring issues with the vehicle. And I'm gonna let you know right now, this is definitely the issue. This wheel will not spin without extreme force being put into it. So we're gonna have to take this wheel off, see what's wrong with the caliper. All right, now what we're gonna do is take the caliper apart, find out what exactly in here is seized up and not allowing this rotor to turn unless you put a lot of force into it. We're going to check the caliper, we're going to check the caliper pistons, we're going to check the caliper bracket and the slides. So hang tight. We're going to check to see if the pistons retract. Going back pretty nicely. No real struggle there. Yep, that's bottomed out. All right. See the caliper slides. Yep, that one's nice and free. Good grease on that, nothing crazy. And let's get the bottom one. Ooh. Oh, I think we found it. It'll spin, but it won't come out. Oh. Yeah, that ain't coming out. Okay, so we need to get a price on calipers or slides or whatever the deal may be. We will see what the most cost-effective and best option is for the customer and go from there. The other thing, the car is sat for a while, so the rotors are a little rusty, but oh yeah, that is burned. These are brand new, they put them on. Didn't work out so hot for them. They burnt the top edge of these. And these may be reusable. We'll have to take a look to see if there's any heat cracking or anything like that inside the pad. But for the time being, I'm gonna get this caliper bracket off and see what else we're dealing with in there. Never wanna leave calipers hanging free. Just make sure that they're attached to something. Oh, there we go. Use these hooks, they're beautiful. See what we have to do to get this slide to come out. She is in there tight. So I was able to get the boot off of this slide. You can see in this one, nice and, well, I'll clean it up, but it's just got grease in there. This one is all dry, rusty. I mean, this stuff is gross. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try and heat it up, see if I can get the pin to come out of the caliper bracket, and clean up the inside of that and see if we can get a pin rebuild kit and some boots to make this a nice, cheaper alternative to replacing the entire caliper and its brackets and everything. So, see what this does. All right, so what we're going to be doing is I'm going to get the torch and we're going to be heating this up to see if I can get it to release from inside of here and then clean up on the inside of here and replace it with new pins, new boots, and we'll see what goes on. And make sure to get a nice, even heating. You can see the old grease boiling out. Let's see if we can get it out now. Oh, it's coming. Almost there. Oof, there she goes. Look at that. Gross. What we're going to do here is we're going to take a round file and clean up any of the rust and corrosion on the inside of this caliper and see if we can get the rest of that piston boot to come out with it. There it is. And that's what's left of the boot on the inside. She is mangled. So I shoved the rag in here to try and get any of the other grease and gook and burnt stuff off from the inside of this here caliper. And gotta say, it's looking phenomenal on the inside here. So I'm pretty happy about that. All right, now that we have everything all cleaned up and freed up, I went and got us the pin kit. So we're gonna do now, also came with new boots. So I'm gonna stick the boots on, I'm gonna grease everything up, and the caliper will be all set. All right, make sure to lubricate the pins nice and good. Nice little brush. Doesn't have to be the whole thing, just a little bit. Stick that back in. Same for the other pin. Just to get some grease on there. All right, make sure these operate, flow nice and easy. And we are ready to put the caliper and brake system back together on the vehicle. Once you have your caliper bracket all put on nice and neat, you want to make sure to get your caliper bracket shims in to make sure that everything slides nice and easily. Brake pads slide along inside the caliper bracket nice and freely. So you want to get them in there. Make sure they're seated properly. Sometimes they can be a little pain in the butt, like this one's being. There we go. You want to lube them up. You don't want to lube the rotor surface or the pad surface. You want to lube up the spots where the pads will ride so they don't bind into the caliper bracket and things of that nature. Now, if you get a little bit of grease on the rotor, it's not a huge deal. Just, take some brake clean and a rag and make sure to wipe it up, get it up nice and clean. You don't want any of that on the braking surface of the vehicle, because that will cause issues with braking, will cause failures, and all kinds of other problems. So make sure everything's nice and greased. Get your pads in there. And then what you can do, some people do this, not everybody, it's more of a preference thing I think than anything, but if you lube the back of the pads, the area in which the caliper touches the pad, it can help with some vibration noise and some other squeals and things of that nature, just because it gives it one more little buffer to ride on. Don't have to go crazy with it, just a little, just to get it on there. The same for the inside pad. Just enough so the caliper has something to ride on. Okay. All right, time to put the caliper back on. We already checked to make sure that the pistons operate properly, and they do. These new slides came with new bolts, so make sure to use them so that the threads are proper and you're not cross-threading anything.
So what we're doing right now is Chris just completed the brake service on the vehicle. And since we had the hydraulics open and the system bled, we're doing a hold and release on the brakes to verify that all wheels hold and release when the brake is unapplied. The reason for this is that sometimes when you do this, not only you kill two birds with one stone, you do the torque check on the wheels, but it also can reveal subtle things that you may not pick up in the road test.
Release. There we go.
So all four wheels down, held in the air, engine off, and released, so we can feel comfortable that we're not going to have any issues with the hydraulics at this time. Thank you very much.